Hello and welcome to UCLan Sports Day with Dan Woffenden and Jack Thomas.
Our top stories this afternoon.
Helping the rough sleepers at Christmas time, how the Preston football fans spent a chilly night at Deepdale and raised more than £50,000.
Speaking to some of the volunteers, the workers and some of the people that are actually, using Foxton Centre because they were homeless. It really hit home with me that it actually related to me when I was growing up.
Making its Olympic debut, how the next generation will be inspired by karate's Tokyo 2020 appearance.
And could this be a new fan favourite? Can korfball take the Commonwealth Games by storm?
Send it.
Our top story today, and more than £50,000 has been raised by football fans to help rough sleepers in Preston survive this winter. One centre which helps homeless people says there were 8 deaths on the streets of the city last year.
Around 300 supporters of Preston North End held a sponsored sleep out at Deepdale Stadium, and now organisers are hoping to renovate a new home to support rough sleepers. They're also hoping the sleep out could become a regular event. George Hodgson reports.
End fans braved the cold and slept the night at Deepdale. In support of the Foxton Centre, they managed to raise over £50,000. The money will go towards buying and renovating a home for the homeless in the city of Preston. These supporters slept the night rough for one night only, a great effort by all involved, but on the outside, this is just everyday life for some people. Preston North End striker Louis Moult heavily supported the event, with homelessness an issue very close to his heart.
As soon as I went in and I started speaking to some of the volunteers, the workers and some of the people that are actually, using Foxton Centre because they were homeless. It really hit home with me that it actually related to me when I was growing up, and in terms of, my mum passed away when I was 15 due to alcohol, and my uncle was homeless at a stage, which was quite emotional, but ever since then I've tried to stay involved and help out as much as I possibly can.
From April 2018 to March of this year, over 7,000 homes were threatened with homelessness in Lancashire. There are 4,677 rough sleepers in the UK. That figure is up 165% from 2010. Chief Executive of the Foxton Centre, Jeff Marsh, was present at Deepdale on the night. He was immensely proud of the total figure raised, and plans for the next big P&E sleep out are already underway.
I can still see the bags under my eyes, but it was a fantastic night, great community event. We've raised over 57,000 so far. We had a target of 50, and I think when all the money's in, we'll probably take about £70,000, which is just an incredible achievement by everybody involved. There will be a next time, so we're looking to do it once every 2 years probably, and that's a great kind of commitment from the football club.
It's a small step, but a step in the right direction towards tackling a real issue in the city of Preston.
Massive thank you for your support towards me and for
George Hodgson, UCLan Sport.
A fantastic initiative there, Dan.
Yes, it is great to see that in Preston. Now, it's just over 6 months to the next Summer Olympics, and the sport of karate will be making its debut at the Games.
However, it's only been admitted to the event in Japan, the spiritual home of karate, as a one-off, and there are no plans yet for it to be included in the following games in Paris or Los Angeles.
That's causing disappointment for some young talent in Lancashire, as our reporter Liam Black's been finding out.
McKenna Jones became a black belt at just 10 years old. At that same age, she represented England for the very first time. She competes all over Europe, but the 12-year-old's Olympic dream may never be realised. That's because karate is set to be included in this summer's Olympic Games, but there are currently no plans for it to feature in future events.
I train all around the world, all around Europe, and I compete national and international.
Her sensei says the Olympic inclusion is good news for the sport, and he hopes it will be included again in future games.
Obviously anything that has an Olympic title to it will get publicity, it will get good press, so I'm sure like you said, my club's busy as it is, but I expect more through the door, and giving the kids and people a chance to fulfil dreams at Olympic level. It's been a battle for the last, even before I started, about getting karate in the Olympics. It obviously fits well with it being in Tokyo, obviously from the origins of the sport, so obviously they've got it in there. So yeah, it's great, and I hope it continues.
In his role as chairman of Seeker England, Jason gets to coach some England internationals and future Olympic hopefuls.
My current boss, Julian, is actually the head of England right now, so he's the equivalent of Gareth Southgate in football. And I was working with him all over the weekend with obviously the full England team. That was really good. But yeah, we've got a few here that maybe one day will aspire to be that level.
One who does aspire to be at that level in the future is McKenna, and her father supports her dream.
She's currently on the pre-Olympic ladder, so she's aiming for the Youth Olympics in 2022 in Dakar. So, as it's a self-funded sport, it's something that we have to progress as a family. She takes that, very seriously. She does fundraising to help, and any sort of money she earns from teaching for Jason, she earns and she puts away for her karate competitions.
And this karate kid certainly has one goal in mind.
Do you want to go to the Olympics? Is that your dream?
Yeah, it's been my dream for ages.
Liam Black, UConn Sports Day.
Sensational stuff, Dan.
Yeah, very funny. It does feel like it was only yesterday that the Rio Games were here.
It really does.
So football now, and Manchester City came from a goal down to beat Dynamo Zagreb 4-1 in the Champions League last night. City went behind early on before Gabriel Jesus equalised to put the sides level at half-time.
After the break, 2 quick-fire goals from the Brazilian gave him and City their third of the night before Phil Foden rounded off the scoring 5 minutes from time. The Citizens finished top of Group C and progressed into the knockout stages of the competition.
To the Premier League now, and as the top versus bottom clash this weekend as Liverpool host Watford. Burnley entertain Newcastle, and Sean Dyche's side will be looking to bounce back after a 5-0 thrashing by Tottenham last time out.
Manchester United are at home to Everton as they look to build on their impressive Manchester derby win and close the gap on the top 4. And the pick of the bunch will be Manchester City's clash with Arsenal at the Emirates on Sunday afternoon.
Into the Championship, Wigan Athletic will be desperate for points when they host fellow relegation strugglers Huddersfield Town following their 1-1 draw against West Brom last night.
Blackburn Rovers will travel to Bristol City after also drawing with Swansea 1 apiece. Promotion-chasing Preston North End will look to make it 2 wins on the bounce as they face Luton Town at Deepdale after beating Fulham 2-1 on Tuesday night.
Key to that victory was a goal from Peony legend David Nugent.
The 34-year-old re-signed at Deepdale in the summer, scoring his last goal for Preston in 2007. The former Leicester City forward has scored 153 league goals in his career. Nugent has made 1 appearance for England, scoring in the UEFA Euro 2008 qualifying match against Andorra.
Joining us now is Adam Salisbury. Adam, North End are 6th in the league, so there must be some excitement there at Deepdale.
Yeah, spirits are high here at Deepdale, Dan. Preston North End regained their playoff spot after that 2-1 win over Fulham at the weekend. And here to help us try and find that key to Peony's success is Jack Armour of Preston North End, who's been at the club since the age of 6. Jack, we're speaking about Nugent. He's been absolutely outstanding so far this season. Just how important is he going to be for this season?
Yeah, he had a great performance on Tuesday night. It was good for him to get his goal. I think it's been a while since his last goal, but all the lads were delighted for him. He works ridiculously hard in training, and obviously you see it during the games. He's adapted the way he's played. I mean, a few years ago he probably was chasing everything in behind, using his pace, and now he's a bit more of a target man when he's the lone striker and he brings all the other players into play.
Yeah, the other experienced head in the dressing room is Paul Gallagher, and he's equally as instrumental, isn't he?
Yeah, he's another great player. He's got so much experience. He's played at the highest level. Got 1 cap for Scotland. Probably could have had a few more. But he's great. He talks to all the young lads. Tells you what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong when you're on the training pitch. He's such a good player. He's got a wand of a right foot, and he's always there to pass the ball to you. Just give him the ball and let him do the work, really.
Yeah. So what's next for you, Jack? I mean, you've just come back from your long spell at Lancaster City. What can we expect to see from you?
Yeah, I mean, I sat on the bench last Monday against West Brom, down to a few injuries, and I think one more injury I might have had to play, but I'll probably look for another loan in January, maybe to League 2 conference, and just try and play as many games as I can. I've played 22 games so far this season, and I was second in the league at Lancaster. But there's some great players in that league, but hopefully I go a bit higher and push myself a bit more.
Yeah, you played with one stand-up player at Lancaster, didn't you?
Yeah, David Norris, been promoted with Plymouth, played for Leeds, played in the Championship, So there is a few really good players in that league. Yeah.
Thank you very much to Jack, and we wish Jack all the very best with his development. But on the pitch at Deepdale here on Saturday, Preston North End take on Luton Town, and if they win, they can top off a wonderful week for the football club and for the Lily Whites.
Thanks, Adam. The FA Trophy is back this weekend and clubs from the North West are involved in the first round. The likes of Chorley, Southport, Chester and Altrincham will all be in action on Saturday.
Also in the first round at AFC Fylde, they'll be looking to retain the trophy as they begin their defence of the title. The Coasters host National League North side Curzon Ashton as they look to progress to the second round and a step closer to another Wembley visit. Callum Foster has more.
The FA Trophy is back this weekend, and for AFC Fylde, it's the start of their defence against Curzon Ashton. What seems like a distant memory, this free kick from Danny Rowe ensured the Coasters took the FA Trophy back to Millfarm for the first time in their history.
The National League Player of the Year has turned up when it really matters here for Fylde.
With Fylde struggling in the league, last year's Cup hero Danny Rowe believes nobody will look at Fylde and think they can beat them in their pursuit for trophy glory once again.
Obviously we're not doing particularly great at the minute with where we are in the league, but I don't think anyone this season, if it's in the league or the trophy or whatever, I don't think anyone will look at us and think, oh, they fancy to play us, they'll easily beat us, anything like that. So ourselves looking at it, I think we'll be one of the best teams in the trophy. So yeah, looking at it like that, you'd look at it thinking we're one of the favourites as well. Other teams will think they are, which obviously no problem. A lot of teams are as well, but that's how we look at ourselves and think we were one of the favourites to go all the way.
For manager Jim Bentley, the trophy is a competition he has never managed in before, but just like every game he manages in, he wants to win and progress as far as possible in the competition.
The holders of the FA Trophy team done fantastically well last year to win it, and we want to defend that. So Curzon Ashton Saturday, that's obviously another day, but when that comes round, we'll be looking to win that and get into the after the next round.
If Fylde win on Saturday against Curzon, it will give them real belief they can go all the way in the competition once again. And come May, they will be hoping celebrations like this can happen once again. Callum Foster, UCLan Sport.
Here's an interesting statistic for you. Young people from more than 80 different countries have been helped to pursue their dream of a football career by just one academy in the North West over the last 8 years.
The Manchester International Academy has seen some of its scholars go on to elite clubs. But it not only supports them on the pitch, it also helps them prepare for life even if they don't make it as professionals. I've been to meet their players and coaches.
A city that eats, sleeps and breathes football. Manchester International Football Academy is not just an ordinary football academy, but it's a place where family matters. Since its opening in 2011, MIFA have welcomed players from over 80 different countries, aiming to fulfil their dream of having a pathway in football. Clearly an attractive proposition which is supported by the coaching on offer, with the coaches having experience from the lower leagues right through to the Premier League. And Academy manager Pedro Montero has invaluable experience within professional football clubs, and he believes it's important for players to develop and achieve their goals.
Moving forward together, and that can be boys going into professional clubs, boys who come from schools or come from difficult backgrounds, trying to get them into university, and just generally trying to make improvements. Obviously not everyone here is going to be a footballer, so whether they go into university or different forms of sport or different subjects, but as long as they're for the time they're with us, whether it's a day, a week or 3 years, is when they're here, they're trying to improve in whatever they're doing. We're trying to facilitate that.
So here at Manchester International Football Academy, it's not just about scoring goals. The main goal, as Coach Pedro said to me earlier, is about team ethics, behaviour and learning the right way to be a footballer. So let's go and speak to a player to find out more about the academy.
Everyone's, like a family here, everyone knows each other, everyone speaks to each other here, and that's the best thing. And that's how we get the best out of each other as well, I think. Obviously, you have a dream, you want to get somewhere, but you need help to do it, and Julio, Joss and Pedro, they're always here helping to do it, so yeah, and they're very helpful all the time.
A different pathway to a normal academy football club, but certainly beneficial in more ways than one. It looks like we have some future stars in the making. Don Woffenden, UCLan Sports Day.
And we've also got plenty more coming up for you today in today's programme.
Riding for glory, a teenager from Preston will be flying the flag for Great Britain at the BMX World Championships.
And they're getting into the festive spirit down at the dock as Preston's Dragon Boat Racing team holds its annual Christmas paddle.
The popularity of women's football has seen a huge increase in attendances and media coverage in the top 2 leagues, but this doesn't seem to be filtering down the football pyramid.
The 5th tier of women's football boasts teams such as Crewe, Fleetwood, Wigan and Morecambe, all of which remain in existence due to their players paying to play for them.
With a lack of funding in the lower leagues, could we see less and less talent being produced for the higher position teams? Aidan Beswick has more.
Women's clubs in the lower leagues are suffering due to a lack of sponsorship. Crewe Alexandra are just one of these teams that this relates to.
Each of them are paying £25 to £30 minimum subscription, which is what the club needs to survive because we haven't got any sponsorship whatsoever.
Due to this expenditure and 2 training sessions a week, the club have lost players.
We did lose girls that couldn't commit because they just couldn't financially afford it, or the work commitments didn't allow them to train twice a week.
Despite this barrier, it's not all doom and gloom for Crewe.
Because of what we're building, we are attracting some really good young players that have probably been in big clubs.
But with players having to pay their own way and a lack of external finances, the existence of these clubs could be threatened.
We like to think that we live in a world where quite soon we can bring in the money that means they don't have to pay to play.
This of course means if clubs' existences do come under threat, teams in the higher leagues could miss out on potential talent. Aidan Beswick, UCLan Sports Day.
Joining us now in the studio is Gail Newsham, an historian on the Dick Kerr ladies football team, one of the first ever women's football teams in England, and Lauren Perry, Blackburn Rovers and Northern Ireland international goalkeeper. First girls, welcome to the show, thanks for coming in. Start with you, Lauren. Do you think there could be more done financially to help the women's game and maybe the men's teams helping the girls' teams?
Yeah, personally I do think there could be more done. Before I moved over to England, I previously played for Linfield Ladies, which is in Northern Ireland. And over there, I do see a difference from back home to over here. There wasn't much help or support from the men's team financially. But over here, I do see a bit more of help, but I would like to see more. Currently, I'm at Blackburn Rovers, and the men's team do help financially. For example, giving us buses to the matches and supplying money for kit and stuff like that. But I do think there could be more done.
That's brilliant. And so we've just talked about the present. Let's talk about the past. Dick Kerr Ladies were the oldest teams ever in women's football. In 1921 there was a ban from the FA on them playing in affiliated stadiums. How much has that halted the progression of women's football in your opinion?
Well, it's halted it for 50 years. You know, they were out in the wilderness and there was nowhere for them to go really, only on grounds that weren't under the jurisdiction of the FA, and consequently the crowds, you know, they weren't going to be as big, although they did always play in front of thousands of people. But any sort of ban like that's going to have an effect on anybody, but the Dick Kerr Ladies did carry on until 1965.
No, they did absolutely fantastic to fly the flag for so long for women's football.
They most certainly did.
And thank you both for that. And as we've just been saying, the growth of women's football has been massive in recent years, with a 60% increase in fans in the past 2 years. With the women's game continuing to flourish, Chorley goalkeeper Rachel Derbyshire believes that the increased TV coverage remains the main pulling factor to encourage girls to get into the sport. Dylan Platt reports.
Women's football is a consistently growing sport, and Chorley keeper Rachel Derbyshire says she is keen to see more girls get into the game.
There's little kids that come all the time. There's a little girl who comes every week, and it's nice to see them come and watch us, hopefully idols, but then more and more it's on television, more hopefully little kids, especially girls, come into the game more.
Derbyshire admits that she used to play with men and that it's nice to see more girls playing at a younger age.
A couple of years ago when I was playing, literally, I was playing with boys, so it's nice to progress through and you get to see how many other girls are coming by like 16, aren't they?
The Chorley keeper says that she loves the friendship that she has with the staff and players at the Magpies.
Oh, it's been great. Previous clubs, I'm very happy, and you can tell that by the performances. Past 2 seasons here, amazing, the coach is great, players are great, it's just really nice overall, nice club.
Dylan Platt, UCLan Sport.
So moving forward, what would you both say needs to be done to encourage young girls to get into the sport? Lauren, starting with you.
I think just playing mixed football will help. When I was younger, I played with boys up until I was 14, and I think that helped me just playing and getting more confident playing the sport. I also think the media will help. More live coverage of games means more younger girls can watch if they can't go watch it in person. I think that would just help it going forward.
Brilliant. And Gail, in your opinion?
Well, I echo what Lauren says. Yeah, we need more media coverage, but I think getting boys and girls playing together in schools, and it'll just become the norm. That's what I did when I was a kid. I was always out in the street playing with the lads, and I think that's where girls learn to play.
Do you think that was been the biggest problem, the whole stigma around, you know, girls not being able to play football? Do you think that's still around now, and that's what needs to be addressed by maybe getting boys and girls to play together?
Yeah, I think it would. I think in a couple of generations we won't even be having these conversations. It'll just be the norm. Everybody will just think that, yeah, that's fine.
No, it's definitely moving in the right direction anyway.
Let's hope so.
And thank you both for coming in today.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, thank you both of you.
Thank you.
A Preston teenager has qualified to represent Great Britain at the BMX World Championships in Texas next May. Robert Idden of Lostock Hall, once featured on Channel 5's My Violent Child, took up BMXing as a way of dealing with his ADHD and other learning difficulties.
Rob started BMXing at the age of 11. Now aged 15, he will be attending his first World Championships and is aiming for the 2024 Paris Games. Chanda and Jovu went to meet him.
My mum found out one night and just shouted me into her bedroom and went, I got something to tell you, and basically you've qualified for a Worlds. I came down to watch my mum's friend's son do it and I liked the look of it, so I thought I may as well give it a go. Doing more training and more fitness training to get like my fitness up, because I know a lot of the American style tracks are a lot of pedalling, which means I've got to be able to keep going for longer and just things like that, to be honest. Supported me when I've been annoyed that I've not had the best of races. It helped me with like my confidence on going for bigger jumps and getting in with bigger lads and pushing me with my training, but also like getting me to walk away when I'm getting annoyed because I can't do something.
It's great to have an athlete flying the flag for our BMXers now, isn't it, Dan?
Absolutely, very motivational, Jack. Now onto a growing sport which hopes on making it into the Commonwealth Games. Korfball is a mixture of basketball and netball.
Unusually for team sports, males and females can play in the same team. Our reporter Nathan Bailey has been out to find more about it.
When it comes to equal opportunities in sport, korfball is doing its best to be at the very top. The mixed gender sport allows people of all races, shapes and sizes to go up against each other in a friendly environment. These university students from Liverpool spoke about their passion for korfball.
The great thing about korfball is really inclusive. So, as you said, there's boys, girls, you can be of different heights. It doesn't prejudice against different heights as well. It's literally the most inclusive sport I've ever played.
It's a lot different to any other sport I've played. It's very fast-paced, energetic, gets you moving, and it's just great fun.
As well as their love for the sport, the players also have passion for helping the LGBT community and have been doing different initiatives in support of the group.
One of our president Ben has made a video in part with the uni to kind of promote it, and that's like been an ongoing thing, or like kind of a work around this month that they've been promoting.
This is the.
We also, everyone in the team has pretty much got laces for £1.
Yeah, they're amazing.
So is that going to a charity?
Yeah, that goes towards LGBT awareness.
A lot of this group have played together for around 3 years, but what is it actually like playing in a mixed gender team?
It's hard to explain. It's just like family culture, and everyone looks out for each other, and it's just a good laugh, and we're all really good mates here, and everyone has a great time, and you get to have a bit of exercise on top of that. So honestly, it's amazing.
Despite being a niche sport, these korfballers believe they could see their game on a world stage.
5 years' time, you'll see a couple of us at the Commonwealth Games, maybe even the Olympics. But it's definitely since I've come to Liverpool over the last year or two, it's grown massively in the Merseyside area, and I can only see it getting bigger.
Nathan Bailey, UCLan Sports Day.
Really great to see a sport where both girls and boys can play in the same team there, Dan.
Absolutely, certainly something I want to try in the future, Jack. The Preston Dragons have recently added some silverware to their trophy cabinets and are hoping their annual Christmas paddle can help win more.
The team brings a touch of the Orient to Lancashire, so I've been down to the Preston Marina to find out more.
The Preston Dragons are a relatively new team to the dragon boating world, but have already enjoyed some major success.
Dragon boat racing is a team canoe sport, and the hard work put in at the Preston Marina has certainly been paying off.
So our 2019 season has been an absolutely fantastic success. We won this fantastic trophy for coming first in the National Standard League. We also came third in the Mixed League, which is a much more intense competition. We're a fairly new club. We've only been going for 3 years, and we've got about 55, 60 members now, which is absolutely brilliant considering we've only been going 3 years. So to get trophies like this in that sort of short space of time is just brilliant. We were nowhere near contention for the top places in the previous season. I can't actually remember how far down we came. Once you get past sort of 5th or 6th, you start to pay less attention. But it's a phenomenal improvement we've had this year.
With the upcoming season fast approaching, the Dragons are aiming for more silverware this time out.
We really want to be pushing for second or even first in the Mixed League. Really, there are 2 really intensely competed places ahead of us. So, but hopefully we can start to make progress in that way.
The Dragons are swapping sunshine for nighttime in preparation for their latest festive event. At this time of year, all the talk is about Christmas, but this team from Preston is urging everyone to swap Santa's sleigh for a dragon boat. You'll not want to miss it. Next week, the Dragons will be holding their annual Christmas paddle, an event which helped to attract new members to the club.
Once a year we get out on the water, we dress up in silly Christmas clothes. A couple of the guys dress up as Santa as well, and we get out on the dock. Hopefully we'll get two boats, maybe one more out there, and we'll paddle around the dock and just sing carols and generally have a good time and raise a bit of awareness for the club. At the start of last year we were around about sort of 40 members, so we've grown by about 20 members, which is brilliant. And we've managed to secure funding for new boats, new paddles, new buoyancy aids, so new kit for the club, which is really helpful, particularly when we get beginners joining who haven't had any experience before or haven't got any kit of their own. So it's been great, the progress we've seen.
Funnily enough, I saw the festive paddle last year. So my background's in kayaking, I've done a lot of kayaking, and saw the dragon boaters out doing their festive paddle. I was out running around the docks and I thought that looked a really good fun thing to go and do. When you're all dressed up and having a good time together, I think that will really bring in more people next year.
The weather is certainly festive down here at the Preston Marina, but the message is clear from the Preston Dragons. This Christmas, come down and have a go. Jack Thomas, UCLan Sports Day.
I don't know if I'd brave the cold in a dragon boat in this weather, Jack.
It is very cold, but, you know, down at the marina they're feeling festive and they're definitely braving it for a great cause.
Absolutely. So that's all we've got time for this afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
You can keep up to date with all of our stories on our website and at UCLan Live on Twitter. But for now, from both of us, it's goodbye.